Hello, and welcome to my presentation. And this presentation is about the ancient Egypt and the Nile River. And we're talking about the ancient civilization and how this has influenced us today, how their culture has influenced today. So, Nile River and how culture today is influenced by ancient civilizations. And there's a photo of the Nile River right there. Okay, so my first question that I created, basically we combined something we wanted to learn about. So for me, the Nile River, and I combined it with one element of culture. So this one was with religion and beliefs. So I did, how did the Nile River affect people's religions and beliefs? So I did a bunch of research, and I found this. People of ancient Egypt believed that the Nile River was an important part of their religion. They believed that the gods that they believed in caused the Nile River floods. Also, they believed in a god named Hapi, who was the god of the Nile River. Ancient Egyptians used art to express Hapi, and they often showed him as a man with a plant coming out of his head. That's pretty weird. And my next question, this one was a little different. So we have to connect it to something that has to do with the Nile River and religions and beliefs, or just rivers in general. But today, so how it is different today than it was in ancient Egypt. So how do other rivers affect people's religions and beliefs today? So I found out that women that believe in Hindu bathe in the Brahmaputra River in Bangladesh. They believe that when they bathe in the river's holy water, they will be purified of the sins that they did in the past. This occurs annually on a 2-day ceremony. All right, next slide. My second question was, what customs and traditions did the Nile River form? So I answered, one thing the ancient Egyptians did at the Nile River was that they caught food. They slowly realized that the Nile River was a great source of food, so they went and caught things like fish. Villages had fresh, clean water from the Nile River. So overall, people didn't really have customs and traditions, but I mean, they did look for food pretty often, if you could consider that as a custom. And then I connected that question to today. So how does the Nile River form traditions today? And I found out that nowadays people tour around the Nile River using boats. Also, people still do farming along the river. One more thing is that lots of people that live on the Nile love to fish, and there's a lot of people doing it. The Nile River is a great tourist attraction, and lots of people visit it. After all, it is the biggest river in the world. All right. Next question was, what is the story of the Nile River, which connects to arts and literature? So, the Egyptian civilization actually started because of the Nile River. People started settling on the banks of the Nile River, and then they started forming villages and so on. The Nile River is the longest river in the world, and is located in Egypt, which is in the northeast of Africa. People thought that the Nile River was the source of all life, and they praised it and worshipped it. The Nile River also comes along with a few myths and other legends. So I connected that today with what is the story of a different famous river around the world, and I chose the Yangtze River because we're in China. So I think the Yangtze River is very interesting because it's China and that's where we live. This river is very long and it's the third largest in the world. The river finally pours into the East China Sea in Shanghai, and it starts in western Shanghai. The Yangtze River has the largest hydropower station in the world. People think that the river splits China into the north and south. On top of this, the river is a huge part of China's economic success. And my second last question was, what value did the Nile River have on ancient Egypt's government? So I found out the government of ancient Egypt depended on two things, the pharaoh and the agriculture. The agriculture was a main part of ancient Egypt, and the Nile River was the main source of that. The government depended on it because it was almost the base of ancient Egypt. It had a super important value to the civilization, and that's why the people praised it and worshipped it. This is exactly why the Nile River had a huge value. So I connected this to today by asking this question. What value does the Nile River have on the government today? Well, he or she depends on the economy and agriculture, like I said previously, and that is huge in the Nile River. People use transportation and growing crops, which keeps the money flowing around Egypt. Also, I think that the Nile River is a good place to live in, despite the floods. This is good because the government tries to provide homes for the citizens, and the Nile River helps with that. And my last question was, how did the Nile River impact ancient Egypt's economy? Well, the Nile River is centrally located, so a bunch of farmers started learning to dig canals underneath the ground. Then the water started to reach the soil, which helped the farmers grow their crops. Then people started to buy the farmers' crops, and that was extremely important for them. This is important to them because Egypt was huge on agriculture at the time, so they needed money for other things. Once they have the money, they eventually start the farming process again. Then we'll go in one big cycle. And I connected this today by saying, how does the Nile River affect the economy in Egypt today? Farmers grow crops along the banks of the Nile River still, and those crops get sent out to grocery stores, which people buy. Also, people use transportation and buy or rent boats to tour around the Nile River. The Nile River is overall a huge success to Egypt's economy in ancient Egypt and modern Egypt. And here are my citations where I found all of my information on the website using Noodle Tools. You could check out my other video that I made on how to make a Noodle Tool citation. Please subscribe. And thanks for watching. My name is Avery Liliev. You should like and subscribe because, I'm awesome. And, videos every day. I'm just kidding. And bye-bye.